Good evening, guys. Welcome to tonight's video. So I'm going to touch a bit more on this whole food environment thing. So in the last video, we talked about sort of how easy influenced we can be by our environment, and basically what we think we're in control a lot of the time when we think we're making decisions about the food that we eat, whereas a lot of the time we're actually massively influenced by what's around us. Okay, so if you didn't see that, go back and check that out. But today I'm going to talk about a few strategies that can help you to sort of work this in your favour. Okay, so a few tips from these studies that were done. Basically, the first one: make your kitchen less loungeable. So essentially, get rid of anything that keeps you in your kitchen for a long period of time. It may be a TV, maybe chairs, a sofa, maybe a computer. Basically, anything that keeps you there for an extended period of time. And what they did is they found that doing this reduced the amount of time that people spent eating in the kitchen by 16 minutes a day. Okay, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually turned out to be about 6% of your total calories for the day, which adds up over the week, a month, and years, okay? Next one, which I thought was quite interesting, is to keep your kitchen clean. So they basically did a study where they put people in like a fake interview. So they put them in a room, in a kitchen, for like half an hour before they were going in for their interview. And basically, for some people the kitchen was messy, some people the kitchen was clean. And basically the kitchen that was untidy and was sort of very cluttered, they ate 44% more snacks than in the kitchen that was clean. Okay? So again, this is huge if you tend to have, quite big snacking tendencies. Okay? Now, sort of to go on from this, it's very easy to say don't have snacks in the house because it's not always an option. For me personally, that works amazing because I snack out of boredom. I know I do. And if it's in the house, I will eat it. So I essentially say to myself, I'm not going to have it in the house. If I want it, I have to go out and get it. Now, even though there's a little convenience store about 2-minute walk away, usually thinking about putting clothes on, going down there and getting it, just puts me off. I'm just like, I probably really don't want it that badly, okay? Now, sort of another side note I want to say is that, indulgences are a huge part of creating a sustainable plan, okay? That it is very important, really, to try and work these things in. I mean, some people will have to restrict for a certain period of time, but if you can enjoy the things that you like and still get results, why not, okay? So this is not saying that, that you can't have any. And also, like I say, it's easy to say keep them out of the house, but kids, things like that, sometimes it's not that easy. So there are some ways that you can limit the sort of how much you go for them if you have to absolutely have them in the house. And this is a great one, I think, in that put all of your snacks into one place. So basically, if you have certain snacks, in 4 or 5 different cupboards, you're essentially increasing the likelihood that you're going to stumble across them. And the more you see them, the more decisions that you have to make about whether or not you want it, okay? Whereas if you have them all in one place, say just one, you're making that decision like a fourth of the time, okay, a quarter of the time, which just, stops you from having to make that decision as often, okay? Next is, and I think this is a great one, this is about secretaries, okay? So basically, they gave them free chocolate for a month and they tested it on the basis of accessibility. So like I say, if you have to have it in the house, you just have to make it harder to get to. So basically, they had situations where it was on the desk, it was in a drawer on the desk and 6 feet away. And what they found was that when it was convenient right in front of them on the desk, they ate about 225 calories of chocolate a day. When it was 6 feet away, they ate only 100 calories a day. Now, that might not seem like a huge difference, 125 calories, but if you add that up over the year, that can equate to about £10 a year just in chocolate, okay? And that sounds like, oh, no, okay? So, and the researchers sort of asked them, why did you eat, over half the amount when it was only 6 feet away, and was it difficult to get to, and it was only 6 feet away? And they basically said that it just gave them a pause, and it just gave them a time to think and assess and say to themselves, well, am I really that hungry? And a lot of the time they said, well, no, I'm not really. but it gave them that pause. Whereas if it's right in front of you, we tend to get a craving and we just act. We don't think. But if we give ourselves that time to think and question it, usually, like with me, Leo, do I really want it that badly that I'm going to put on clothes and walk down the shop? I'm like, don't really want it. Okay, so just giving yourself that pause sometimes can make a huge difference. Now, sort of, in fact, they actually even, I'll add this as well, they actually even showed a difference between having it in the drawer and having it on the desk. So even that made a difference, even though it was still within reach, just having it in the drawer made a huge difference, okay? Now, okay, this isn't saying getting rid of them, because sometimes restriction makes it even worse. But again, it's just making it harder to get to, so it's just making them less accessible. And what this sort of does is it sort of shows a difference between like the conscious decision, so saying I'm going to have a snack today after lunch or whatever, and just stumbling across it and saying, and seeing it and thinking, I wouldn't mind one of those, because that's okay if you do it once a day, but if you do that 5 times a day, that adds up quickly, okay? So it's just that difference between a conscious decision to go and have it and, you know, just stumbling across it multiple times a day and saying, why not, okay? One last one I'll talk about tonight is the sort of like, if you really can't keep it in the house, you know, don't have it in the house, then go out for it. So let's say it's ice cream and your, you know, trigger is ice cream. Don't have it in the house and say, right, once or twice a week we're going to go out for ice cream. Because what this does is it puts you in a different environment. So if you go out and you have to order it at a restaurant or a shop or whatever, it's highly unlikely, especially if you're on your own, that you're going to order 3 portions to yourself. You're probably just not going to do that. Whereas if you have a tub of ice cream in the freezer, it is very likely that you're likely to go back for seconds, thirds, fourths, and basically just end up finishing the tub. So again, it's just small little tweaks like this that make a huge difference, okay? So that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm going to do one more video on this, just to do like a roundup and talk about a very interesting study where they studied people at a buffet, because obviously buffets can be very hard to control your intake at, and I thought this study was just fascinating, so I'll share that next time. But that's it for tonight, guys. Hopefully you got some value from that. If you did, please feel free to like, comment and share, because I always appreciate it, and it does help the video to go out to more people, which is always my goal, because I want to help as many people as I can. If you're not watching this on my YouTube, just be aware that I do have a channel. I'll just put all the videos on there, and it's a very nice, convenient way for you to see them all, rather than having to scroll through my feed and my timeline. That is just my name as it appears on here, Nathan Bancroft. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Look out for the next video, and I shall see you there. Cheers.